Welcome to History Explained, where we illuminate the past to better understand our present. I'm your guide for this weekly dose of 7 days under 7 minutes. Today is Sunday, June 15, 2025. As we do every Monday, we explore this day in history, this time focusing not on distant centuries, but on the past week itself, June 9th through June 15, 2025. These recent days have already become part of history, shaped by diplomacy, remembrance, political transition, and the enduring power of ideas. We begin on June 9th, when nations around the world mark the 25th anniversary of the end of the Kosovo conflict. In Pristina, world leaders gathered with Kosovar officials to commemorate the withdrawal of Serbian forces and the beginning of NATO peacekeeping operations in 1999. The ceremony was shadowed by new tensions in the region, but also renewed hope for progress, as Serbia and Kosovo have recently resumed EU-brokered talks toward normalization. On June 10, South Africa's newly elected parliament convened for the first time, following the country's most competitive election since the end of apartheid. For the first time in 3 decades, the African National Congress lost its majority, and coalition talks have dominated headlines all week. The event is being compared to the historic 1994 transition, signaling a potential new chapter in South Africa's democratic evolution. June 11 saw the United Nations release its mid-year global hunger report, revealing that over 280 million people are currently experiencing acute food insecurity, an increase from last year, due to ongoing conflicts in Sudan, Ukraine, and the Sahel. The report cited climate shocks and disrupted grain exports as major drivers. In Geneva, UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres called for a new global food pact, reminding us that hunger remains one of the world's most persistent and preventable crises. On June 12, the world marked the 40th anniversary of Ronald Reagan's "Tear Down This Wall" speech. In Berlin, US and German officials gathered at the Brandenburg Gate for a commemorative event that invoked the Cold War and the fall of the Berlin Wall. While the event honored history, it also addressed present-day challenges to democracy, with leaders warning of rising authoritarianism and the need to safeguard civil liberties. June 13 was notable in the tech and labor world as thousands of freelance creatives in the US and UK staged a coordinated, Digital Labor Day, protesting against the use of generative AI to replace human artists and writers without fair compensation. The movement, supported by several major unions and digital rights groups, is calling for new international guidelines on AI ethics and creator protections. It marks one of the first coordinated international actions targeting the intersection of technology and labor law. On June 14, France celebrated its 80th annual Journée de la Résistance, a national day of remembrance for the French resistance fighters of World War II. This year's ceremonies included a strong showing from younger generations, with students reading letters from wartime resistors. President Emmanuel Macron used the moment to draw connections between past and present threats to democracy, warning against forgetting the cost of freedom. And finally, today, June 15, marks Global Wind Day, observed worldwide with initiatives promoting clean energy. In Copenhagen, the International Renewable Energy Agency unveiled its latest report, highlighting that wind now supplies over 20% of electricity in 12 countries. The milestone comes amid record heat across parts of the Northern Hemisphere, with scientists once again linking extreme weather to climate change and underscoring the need for accelerated transition away from fossil fuels. From war memorials and democratic renewal to climate milestones and digital protests, this past week reminds us that history is always in the making. The headlines of today are the lessons and warnings of tomorrow. Thank you for joining us for this edition of This Day in History. If you found this reflection meaningful, be sure to subscribe and share the episode with someone who values perspective beyond the present moment. Up next, our Tuesday episode, where we profile a historical figure who helped change the course of culture. Until then, I'm your guide for History Explained, where understanding yesterday is the key to navigating tomorrow.